Every circuit tutorial for EET 105 and 118. To get into every circuit, you have to go to everycircuit.com//app. These are a bunch of circuits that I put together, and this is the working area. This is the bar across the top where you put in your elements, and this is the bar where you edit and play your different circuits that you build. So once you get in here and log in, you're going to hit new circuit, and it automatically puts in the ground symbol because you're going to need that. And then you can put in your different elements here. I'm going to put in a DC voltage source. So you can click that, drag it, and then you can edit with the wrench icon here. It's set to 1 volts default. I'm going to make it 12, so you swing this thing around until you get to the voltage that you want. You can do fine tuning with the plus and minus buttons here. Um, that's a simple DC voltage source. An AC source is a little bit more complicated. When you put that in, you can have a DC component. You can have the AC amplitude, which is the amplitude of the sine wave. If we wanted to make that, say, 120 volts, then we're going to swing this thing around like this and make it 120 volts like so. You could change the frequency. It defaults to 1 kilohertz. If I wanted to make it 10 kilohertz, I would go there. If I wanted to make it, say, 60 hertz, I would do that. Current source, same thing. You're going to put that in there like that. And we have resistor. Let's say I want to put this resistor in like this, and I want to rotate it, put it in that way. If I want to move the screen around, I just grab it like in Adobe Acrobat, and then I can use the mouse wheel to zoom in and zoom out. You can also delete items this way. You can rotate. You can show waveforms for a particular item, and so on. Capacitor, I'm going to put that in here, and then I'm going to put another resistor series with it, and then or maybe I should put one in parallel. It doesn't matter. I'm just building one at random here. I'm going to put an inductor in. This capacitor is 1 microfarad. I'm going to make it, let's say, 40 microfarads. So I'm just picking these numbers at random. Inductors, you have to be careful with that. The default starting value is 1 nanohenry. Going to make it 10 millihenries, which is orders of magnitude bigger. So I'm going to swing this thing around, and it's going to go into the micro range, and then keep swinging it around, and it's going to go into the milli range, and then I'm going to finally end up here. I wanted a 10 millihenries, which we use a lot of. I'm not sure why they make those so small to start with. Voltmeter, if I wanted to, let's say, monitor the voltage across this AC voltage source, I could put that there. If I wanted to put in another one and monitor the voltage across this resistor, or, I wanted to, let's say, look at the voltage going across. I'm going to put another one and make it going across this inductor. If I wanted to look at current, I would put in an amp meter, and I could, let's say, monitor different currents in the circuit and look at, each of these individual legs. This is going to be a complicated circuit. I'm just trying to arrange things so I can connect them in a second. what I'm going to do here is as you can see, things turn red if you try to put them on top of each other. You can't do that. But what I'm going to do is try to move these things so I can build the circuit and show you how this thing works. So I'm going to continue to click here and move things around. All right. So I pretty much got what I wanted. What I'm going to do is start connecting nodes. So you connect nodes to make hookups. So what we're going to do is keep connecting nodes and connecting things up. See, I didn't want that to happen. So I'm going to pick this leg and cut it out. And then I'm going to keep clicking around here and trying to, hopefully I'm not going to create a short circuit here. So I'm clicking around and connecting nodes to nodes. I don't know if there's a fast way to do this. Maybe it does some kind of automatic connection. I don't know, but it doesn't take that long. As you can see, I'm almost done here. So it looks like I have it all. I missed a connection here. So anyways, you can see, and you can move things around as you have them connected to make them look prettier. Not real sure about this thing here. I think I messed up. I wanted to measure the current through here to go back to here, so that's doesn't quite look right. Let's move this thing down and try to move this down. I can't move it down. Let me take this out for a second. All right, and then what I'm going to do is try to move this up. And I'm going to put this thing in here and then cut it and reconnect it. This is just showing you that you can make mistakes and fix them. But anyway, so these A's are going to measure the current through these different parts of the circuit. And the voltage meter is going to measure the voltage here and the voltage across here and the voltage across here. So I'm going to turn this on. See, hopefully good, it's working. You can see when I hit the button down here that turns on the transient, and it shows you some voltages here. Like it's 0 volts at ground for sure, and then it's 12 volts right here. This is going to be an AC voltage, so it's kind of going up and down, and it's actually reacting and charging up and doing different things now. So now current's flowing the other way. So like I said, I just built this thing at random to see what it would do. So what we can do here is I can look at this voltage and I can look at this waveform. So I clicked on this voltmeter and I hit the eyeball, which shows the waveform. And now what it's doing is it is, and this is kind of a weird example, but it's showing you the waveform of the circuit. And this isn't a real good example, but it's showing you how it goes up and down. You can click on this meter and turn it on and see the difference. Now this is the green meter, this is the blue meter, and then I can click on this meter and turn it on, and it may give me something odd, but what it's showing you is there's amperage on the right side, because I know this is amps and it's flowing through right here. The left side is showing you the voltage. So that would be this blue and this green meter waveform. So that's essentially it. You could you can save your circuit tutorial number 2 for every circuit and save it. Now I could show you another one I built previously. This is a lot more active, but it's a similar one. I just fired it together. I'm going to stop that and I'm going to show you the waveform, what it looks like. So now you can see this is a little bit more meaningful. It's going between plus or minus 100 millivolts, and I can look at this voltage here and turn it on. See, now it's all the way up at like 12 volts, and you can stop the play and you can click on an item and it'll show you the min and max and the frequency of that item. If I want to go to this item, the min and max is 100 minus 100 millivolt, max 100 plus 100 millivolts. And then if I want to turn on another item, it isn't going to turn it on until I hit play again. See, it's riding down there, so I'm going to turn that green meter off, and then I'm going to run it this. These two are kind of over top of each other. The orange one is 94.9 millivolts plus or minus, and then the blue one's at 100. So then, I can do this all day long, turn things on and off. If I wanted to look at this amp meter right here, I could turn it on and then turn on the circuit again. And then it's going between plus or minus 10 microamps. You can see pictorially the current flow through the circuit. You can see this capacitor is changing polarity continuously. So you can take a screenshot of this, and I'm going to make it with a white background, and then I'll show you. There it is. It's showing you the circuit active and at that moment in time. If I went to, let's go to another simple one. It's wants to know if I want to save it. I can save that. So I can go over to this example I built. It's a little bit simpler. Or I'll go to a really simple one. We're going to go back to, let's see here, problem 6.1. Yeah, this is a good one. So this shows you actual values. This is a DC voltage source, 48 volts, and then this is a 3 kilo ohm resistor, an 18 kilo ohm, and 12 kilo ohm. So obviously the one with the lowest resistance is going to have the highest current flow. So you can see the electrons are moving faster through this resistor, and they're moving the slowest through this orange one, and then they're moving the medium speed through this one. You can see this is 4 milliamps, this is 2.67 milliamps, and this is 16 milliamps. And then you can see the three waveforms up here. They're just constant current. I could pick this waveform and look at it. So it comes up in red, and it's showing up at 22.7 milliamps. Um, if you click on the different items, you can see it shows you the min and the max and the values of those. So this is really, it's very powerful, and I think it would help anybody to understand how electricity flows better. It's easier. Once you get to playing with it for a while, I think it's really going to help you out. So from this point on in the labs, I'd like for you guys to use it. Like I said, it's $15. It's not going to break the bank. It's a one-time fee you'll have for the rest of your life, and you can use it for other classes. Like I was showing you before, there's a lot of stuff up here. You can use it for transistors. You can use it for, for logic gates, and logic or not. All these different logic gates. There's actually some latches and some decoders, some minor chips that you can put in. There's a 7 segment display, so there's a lot of things you can do with this, and you can use it for other classes. So um, I think it's a great tool to have.